cat, how you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. They use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat, moving silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555. For your message or massages, come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Energies, up, Big Cat. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of Father God, Mother Isis. If in doubt, go within and call your ancestral team, your security. Bestie, oi, Big Cat, can we have a quick chat as we sip our mochas? Because we ain't getting smoked. Nope, that's a big fat no. Why are we having a chat? Because you need to fully understand that you are a spiritual badass, a natural born leader, darling dears. Never forget, the Most High will qualify the unqualified. And my top 10 of that is number 1, Noah was a drunk. Abraham was old. Seth was abused. Moses was a red rummer and couldn't talk about it. Nope. He had to keep stum for air. Rahab was a straight up hoe. Elijah wanted to unalive himself. Yes, he did. Jacob was a lying, skin peeling liar. Right? Yes. Job was bankrupt, darling dears. The Samaritan woman, she was divorced many times. And my final top 10 is Lazarus. He had to come back from the dead. Oi, listen, just because you're dead doesn't mean the Most High won't use you. Remember I told you that. Fist bump. Let's dive in, darling dears, and unpack. Just the one, darling dears. I love it. I don't hate it. When we see this, darling dears, this is representative of I was. Yes, baby, the death card in tarot. So this read is going to be about the 8th house, the house of other people's money, the SEX, the transcendence of it all, the death and rebirth of you, the rise of the big cat, darling dears. The 8th house is Scorpio energy. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, darling dears. Yes, it is. Right. Let's get the cards out so we remind ourselves of what we're talking about. The energies that are being bandied around. Pluto is what? Full on transformation. On the 11th, the wounded healer. You had to be cut to the white meat many times for some, darling dears, before you realized your role. That you're not, you what? Do no harm, but take no shiznai, darling dears. Move through the world like a what? Ninja cat, darling dears. A ninja cat. Okay. This is the most inopportune moment to get all of these downloads. Something about the kitchen, a fire, a lost cat. A stray cat's come to you, darling dears. It's for a reason. You need protection and guidance. That's why they're there. Feed them and send them on their way. If they stay, it's because they're there for you. They're there for good, darling dears. Okay. 100%. So we've got two juxtaposed, darling dears, because the 8th house, or the number 8, is ruled by Saturn, so we'll bring Saturn energy out. So it's a time for new beginnings for you, darling dears. Dropping off the dead weight, leaving the bottom feeders to what? Find low-hanging fruit, darling dears. We haven't got time for that, nor the hairline. I keep telling you that. Our hairlines are very important. And some things that these what bottom feeders like to get up to, these tricks, right? And entanglements, they'll take your hairline. They will. And anything else they can what? Take with them, darling dears. Take with them. They're takers, right? Ewas on the runes is represented by the temperance, sorry, the death card in tarot. It's represented on the runestone by the number 19 and on the tarot card by the number 13, darling dears. It also speaks about transportation. Be careful of your transportation over the next few days. Make sure you check and recheck, especially in the form of choosing your journeys, darling dears. Okay. Saturn represented, as I said, by the number 8. Your birth path life path could be the number 8, or any of these numbers could be a significant date or number in your life, 8, 17, or 26. Saturn is represented by the letters H, Q, and Z. The Pluto energy is speaking of your what? Soul's desire, darling dears. It's also representative of the genitalia. I also heard celibacy. Listen, that's the right choice, darling dears, to get your mind right. It also speaks about somebody moving away from a dictator, or you must avoid getting into the position where you are telling people like it is. You can tell them, darling dears, but everybody has free will. Don't force your opinions on no one. You're a big cat. Come on. Pardon me, that was a spiritual belch because I speaks the truth. Roof, pinkies up. Pardon me, excusez-moi s'il vous plaît. Okay. The energy of the temperance, darling dears, is representative of the number 5. So this is about change. This is why I'm calling it. As it's coming to me, I'll call it out, darling dears. So full-on change. A change that was born of extreme difficulty, darling dears. Let's get back to the energy of the 8. You are a natural born achiever, darling dears. If you look back at your life path, the path that you've taken up to this very moment, you'll see that you always rose to the top, just like cream, darling dears. It may not have been humongous steps based on someone else's life path, but we don't look to the left or the right. We stay in our lane and focus on our own goals, our own growth, darling dears. Your luckiest numbers over the next few days will be 2, 4, and 8. Your luckiest days will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The numbers to be avoided is 3, 7, and 9. Your inner strength, darling dears, your fortitude will see you through everything. This is why you always rise to the top. Many will be looking up to you, darling dears, as a source of inspiration, guidance, motivation, all of the above, darling dears. It also speaks about somebody's been doing some research of late. This research is about to pay off. The energy of the 8 is the number of money as well as infinity, darling dears. Okay. You are in your power, darling dears. I said this is going to be about the 8th house, darling dears. The 8th house is the house of karma as well as money. Okay. Divine wants you to what? Go big or go home. This is time for you to expand your limits, your spiritual and physical limits, darling dears. You was challenged and tested. Why? Because blessings, major blessings are on its way. You are going to be in a position of authority, as I said, one which is prosperous in every way. Definite material manifestation. It's time for you to bask in the prosperity that you've created for yourself, but it's about you staying true to your passions. You will be given opportune moments to create Skrilla, that's money.com, darling dears, in the present moment, as because of the impact your spiritual signature is making. You need to understand that you have ranking, darling dears. You have great spiritual ranking because of the challenges and tests you have overcome. And the majority of you, it's been solo dolo, like the boys or girls on the pole. You've been on your own, blood. but never alone. You've always had your 64 ancestors who are appointed to you at this time through the age of Aquarius. Why you chose to come through at this time, darling dears, to help raise the planetary energy and vibration so that we could meet this new earth which has occurred at the new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Okay, let's press on, darling dears. Let's press on. Let's get some energies outside of yourself. You can use the multicolored cards. Intuitive deck. I put this together about 5 years ago. Energy of the 5 again, darling dears. All right, all the cards trying to come out. Let's see what this says. Empress energy, darling dears. This speaks about growth. It speaks about abundance. It speaks about you being beautiful. You may be a parent, a mother, or a father, but it's about you knowing your worth and adding tax. You embody all of the queens or all of the kings. And it's a reminder for you to stay on your throne. Don't get off your throne to go to lower levels, because people will try to take you off your gangster. Why? Because you've possibly no longer given up the cookies, darling dears, the goodies, not your spiritual energies. It's about you reclaiming your natural ingrained assets, darling dears. You are in a position to create legacies. It also speaks about you're going to be getting some return on, possibly from an inheritance, taxes, insurance, or maybe an investment, darling dears. But this is big business, big mucho grande money, blood, much. It also speaks about your psychic abilities, darling dears. To know if you're a natural born psychic, you have to look in your dominant hand, right? Mine is the right. And look between, this is your headline, this is your heart line. If you look between the two, you'll see a natural cross, darling dears. On this way, it's that way. Here's mine. Can you see it between the head and the heart line? The natural cross. I was born with these abilities, but there's, I don't know if it's showing up on this camera properly, but it's also what you develop. I see there's two main prominent ones, darling dears. I had to also develop other aspects of my abilities. Okay, the Empress energy, as I was saying before I interrupted myself, but knowledge is good. You are fertile at this moment in time. Somebody's also planning to buy a home, make a new foundation. This could also be the acquiring or the upgrading of a current business or level of employment. This is a new life phase for you, darling dears, a new life cycle on this new earth. Why? Look, I can't make it up. I can't make it up. I'm just telling you what's coming from my mind, darling dears. Yeah, and it's already on the base of the deck. You are in a new cycle, darling dears, a very new cycle. Split the deck, but there will also be what? Conflict and chaos. Those bottom feeders keep bottoming, darling dears. These are those that never believed in your ability, tried to laugh you out of town, but you chose to leave of your own accord. Empress energy, knowing your worth and adding tax. Yeah, you ripped off the rose-colored glasses and crushed them under your flip-flops of common sense. A flower that does not grow in every garden. We've got the energy of law number 4, right? Always say less. So you are the master or mistress of the moving silence. Yeah, matter of fact, you are the moving silence champion, darling dears. Matter of fact, let me double down on that. You learned how to what? Move like a nun, right? And think like a gangster, a big cat gangster, darling dears. A spiritual what? Bad ass. Remember I told you that, because you are leveling up. I can't make it up. The cards are just flying into my hands. Underneath that is the Justice card, and under that an X factor, darling dears. Ex friendship, ex family member, ex co-worker, ex employee, and underneath that is a liar. They're a big Billy liar. So they're what? Cutting a rug, darling dears, or digging a deeper hole for themselves as they continue to lie and twist and bend things to try and what? Capture your light, darling dears. But you can't capture what is anointed, what is meant to rise. You are the natural born what? Sunflower, ibex as well, darling dears, able to blossom in the most difficult of circumstances. Your spiritual ranking, darling dears, is an upgrade, and it's a blessing to anyone that comes into your auric field. Remember I told you that. Let's press on, darling dears, at a hot trot and see what else is going on. Let me get a deck I haven't used in a while. Looking for the gold deck. Base of the deck, this is about you, what? Reaching emotional maturity. It also speaks about your spiritual ranking. When you are the king, there is no higher position, or if you are male or female. The King of Cups is highly intuitive, darling. There's mature in their ways, as well as what? You like to protect, serve, and provide, but this is in a selfless kind of a way, darling dears. It also speaks about you being reliable in business. If you have a business, darling dears, it is spiritually based, and you're about expect an upturn, right? Yes, baby, in your business. And this is what going forward for air. Remember, I told you that you are anointed, right? You are someone now who is slow to speak and quick to listen. Big cat, listen to everything. Why? People will tell you about themselves. Give them long enough. And the best way to find out things is play a sucker to catch a sucker. Law number 21 of the 48 laws of power, darling dears. When you're silent, people don't know what level your intellect is. And lest you be what? Seen as a fool. Why? You don't have all of the intel. Silence is king. Remember, I told you that. Why? Because you're a big cat and you play chess, not checkers. Right. You heard the seagulls for confirmation. They very rarely come around here during the daytime, darling dears. I live about 50 miles from the nearest coast. And when they come with a message. Right. Telling lies on you, darling dears. But the say less is also for you not to go and defend anything. You'll bring what? Bad karma on yourself, darling dears. Underneath that is what? Law 10 of the 48 laws of power. Avoid the unlucky and the unhappy, lest you be tarred with the same karmic brush. Base of the deck, Queen of Pentacles. This speaks about you, again, knowing your worth. It also speaks about you being loyal, making good decisions. And it is also representative of a business owner or somebody sitting in a position of authority. Remember, I told you that. If you have progeny, you are a wonderful example of a human or a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a guide as well as what? A healer in that situation. But again, it speaks about online. Your works has to be online because you bring a what of wisdom and clarity to the broken-hearted, broken in spirit, broken in mind, darling dears. The rain signifies clearance, right? Getting over a situation, the clouds is behind. You were sent to be a natural-born healer. So you have to get to it, darling dears. We're on the new earth. We've all got our new duties, darling dears. New duties. Yeah. We have the 7 of Cups. There's going to be a lot of red herrings, darling dears. But you have been sent to guide people from the dark to the light. Whether they choose to walk that path is up to them. But you were sent to what? Bring people to a new perspective. To make those that are stuck, unstuck. And remember that what the Most High will use the least likely person to do his or her bidding. Father, God, Mother, Isis. Remember, I told you that. Clarify this 3 of Swords. Yeah. You change people's mental and spiritual perspective. And your words, they cut deep, darling dears. Why? They come with the truth roof. What's this card? Spiritually guided words, darling dears. And your words are meant to travel. And again, the swords is online. 2 of Swords. You help people come out of difficulty and confusion. When we see a lot of choppy water in the background, it's emotional confusion, darling dears, where people become filled with inertia, stagnancy, stuck, not knowing what the next move is. Someone who is relying on other people's behaviors and words. Listen, we've all been there, darling dears. I told you, I was what? A thumber for 50 years, darling dears. Half of 100. Listen, no shame to the game, darling dears. Tell the truth and shame the devil. All of this air energy, this is a spiritual blessing mixed with the wands. Wands is highly spiritual, darling dears. Highly spiritual. Fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It speaks about something dramatic is coming towards your life. The fire energy is representative of the south direction, and the air energy represents the east. So it could be southeast, southeast you live in, or this is the energy that's coming towards you, darling dears. You've learned many new things and you've changed up your communication, calling Archangel Raphael or Michael to assist you with this change on this new earth. I'm hearing the eagle and the lion. Okay, then that could be your spirit animals. Go for it, darling dears. We just heard about a stray cat. Divine wants you to what? Move forward with drive and determination. Why? Because you're going to be getting visions, darling dears. And when you get these visions, it's synchronicities, but you have to act on them immediately. Why? You are the ground support, darling dears. I told you, you're a volunteer and you're ranking, your spiritual ranking. This is why you are being used by the Most High, Father, God, Mother, Isis. You have people watching you, darling dears, trying to bring you down. All of this sword energy. Listen, you've got many a fool, as they're what? Knickers in a twist. Over you, darling dears. All of this sword energy. There's a lot of talk about you. A lot of incorrect talk, darling dears. And some of this talk is based on what? Lost love. They've lost you, darling dears. They speak about you in a disparaging way, but their heart is broken. That what? Black hole they call a heart. It's broken. And it also speaks about mental manipulation, trying to manipulate people's opinions about you. Confuse the masses, eh? Someone is trying to, someone or someone's, but remember they're law 10. They don't like the fact that you leveled up. It doesn't matter. They're trying to confuse because what you are on fate, destiny, and good luck. This is foreign travel, higher education. Why? The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter energy. Jupiter is about expansion of your philosophies, getting your philosophies out there, getting things published. It's also about astrology, darling. There's people are using astrology, understanding that we can map our lives through our birth natal chart and perfection charts, darling dears. You're learning lots of things. The confusion card could also represent you learn this in the quiet, darling dears, on your own time. This is where you gain new perspectives. When you sat in your own energy, was able to hear the words from the Most High. Look at this. I can't make this up. Empress energy. 2 different decks. The intuitive deck and the tarot, darling dears. Knowing your worth and adding tax. The Empress also speaks about growth, spiritual growth, and growth which you achieved while you was in the DNS. This confused energy. DNS is the dark night of the soul. You're going to have a reason to celebrate or party, and it's also like-minded souls coming in, people celebrating your words. And it also speaks about you'll be celebrated in different countries, foreign countries outside of your own, possibly your birth or from your lineage, darling dears. You are going to be celebrated around the world. Wheel of Fortune, remember I told you that. You're about to be recognized, and this is justice, darling dears. Justice. Justice for all of what? The bad karma that you had to overcome, darling dears. The karmic debts that had to be paid in your name. The energy of the 8 speaks about what? Someone still blaming something on you because you're winning, darling dears. And what burglar won't try to break into an empty house, especially when they've lost your energy? 8th house, the death card on its face. This person or people were disloyal to the core, darling dears. And it also speaks about what? Some kind of magic. It could be the magic of what? Magic, chaos magic of negative words, negative feelings being directed at you, darling dears. But they have to remember it's boomerang season, especially when I've already told you. They have realized, they know not to touch, not the anointed, but they can't help themselves, darling dears. You have a captive audience. The same ones that have stuck in their feelings. They feel destroyed by the loss and the lack of your energy. They're stagnant in their works and they're lacking in hope and opportunity, all while you're going through a new beginning, a new leap of faith. I told you, you are part of this new earth, darling dears. Remember I told you that. Maybe after the new moon solar eclipse on the 8th of April, you had the symptoms. I had the symptoms. I had stomach ache, it gives you diarrhea. I had diarrhea, and then I had the feeling, you know when you do a handstand in the swimming pool and then the water goes up your nose? I had that feeling. I developed a twitch in my right cheek. Yes. All ascension, because I was fasting. I did the Daniel fast leading up to it. Plus I did my my fast for my moon sign, Pisces, being in my sign a few days before it actually took up. Listen, you've had those experiences. You've been feeling the ascension and the rise of your spiritual ranking on this new earth, darling dears. This is why they're worried. This is why they're mad. This is why they want to cause controversy, darling dears. A burglar won't break into an empty house. They want to continue to be what? A tampon string in your life, darling dears. Have a hold of your psychological password. These ones that are unlucky and unhappy, where misery loves what? Company. Where you had nothing but bad luck, bad vibes, bad things happening to you, a bad hairline, bad credit, and your Panania Futum was being done in a bad way. Why? Because of marauders. When you're with somebody and they're sleeping with others, they're bringing back all of them Jezebel spirits to be on you. That's why it's confusing. That's why you find yourself on the eggshells, taking people back, darling dears. Because you've got the drive of the energy of the person that wants to sleep with them, darling dears. Plus, it's got your love combined with it from the person you thought they was. Rose-colored glasses. The same rose-colored glasses you've got to rip off, darling dears. The top of the deck is telling what? Tower moment. Behind that, why? Because you had to raise your vibration. And the situation was nothing but karmic. You are loved, darling dears. You've learned to walk with the wise. Whether it's physically or online, darling dears, you had to become a keyboard gangster to find like-minded souls and to answer questions as to why you had to go through what you had to go through. Baby, stop questioning. Why? Do you have a volunteer? Did you have a volunteer? Because if you did, we're hiring. And we play good skrill around here. Yes, we do. Listen, you didn't have a volunteer for that shiznai. You had to go through it. And you have realized you can't take no one with you. That opening, that portal. For you saw the Fool card, leap of faith, this risk you took. This new beginning was for you alone. Those people were what? Geiger counters into what not to do. What you had to let go of. People, places, and things. What's that? The conflict and the chaos, darling dears. And as you let go and step into your new life, this tower moment, the sudden change, here they come again. Like what? A crop of herpes, darling dears. They want to come back in. What do they want to come back in for? Because they know that you bring healing, darling dears. Star card, Aquarius energy, darling dears. Aquarius is the 11th house. It's groups of people that you've left behind. But if you bring them, if you allow any of that dark, nefarious energy, unhealed energy, right? Spiteful energy, right? Because we see people's faces, we don't see their hearts. But as a big cat, as what? A soldier for the light. As someone who has raised their spiritual vibration, darling dears. Realize their spiritual ranking. If you bring them in, you'll bring down all what is being gifted to you at this moment in time, because it took a while for you to what? Pour away what no longer serves you. Some of you, it took as long as what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, darling dears. We're back in the 8th house, the energy of the 8, for you to disengage from that circumstance or situation. Yeah, and again, money, Skrilla.com. This is success. Your hard works is paying off, darling dears. This is why they're attracted to you. They see your light. Empress energy again. I can't make this up. People always get a better look at you from a distance, darling dears. This is why they abuse you. They think that they can just keep abusing you because you're there. But when you take back your power grid, right? Dust off your sandals and head out. Matthew 10:14. They go through constant tower moment after tower moment, darling dears. Good golly and gosh, I know, bestie. Disaster after disaster, these same oppressors are being oppressed at this moment in time. They fear change and their security is squiffy. It's always people coming from a shaky foundation that wants to bring a big cat down. I begs you be, darling dears. Look again, Death card, as we started the read, darling dears. This is your new beginning. This is your transformation, right? The new you, darling dears. The new you. Anything is possible. Yes, it was painful, but it was all part of your regeneration. It was unavoidable change that you had to go through in order for you to what? Achieve your spiritual ranking, darling dears. You are the original bad boy or bad girl phoenix rising as your Big Cat Chronicles continues. And it will always continue as long as you stay on the path that is for you, not for anyone else's. So anyone coming into your life, they've got their own table, darling dears. It's to add to, not take from. This is why if you're looking to go into a relationship and somebody wants to be in a relationship, they have to be able to say, you can say to them, well, I'm happy, content with everything in my life. How can you make my life better from what I've already made it? Pardon me, spiritual belch, because I speak the truth. Roof. They have to be able to improve your life. And I'm not talking about financially, because as a soldier for the light, all of your material requirements will be what satisfied energy of the death card, the 8th house, darling dears. Other people's money. Money will always come to you. Money comes to you frequently. Money comes to you in every way, darling dears. When money is nervous, it finds you in the crowd, darling dears. Why? Because you won't squander it, but you won't hold on to it, darling dears, because as you give, you get. As you get, you give. Money is a vibration. Remember, I told you that. And these people are coming from a lack mentality, darling dears, and it will be the wrong choice on its face to choose them again in your life, or them in a different meat suit, darling dears. Learn to read the energy. Question everything. And if people don't like questions, they can go where they want to go. Somebody has to do some repair work on their house. Okay, stop being lazy, darling dears. Get it done before it gets worse. Okay. Their house, their car. Wounded warrior you be, but it also speaks about your spiritual strength and protection from the wicked. I told you they come in with spiritual attachments to bring you down, take you off your pedestal of greatness. Not that you're better than anybody else, darling dears, but you are gifted and highly favored, and you can't waste your skills on people that refuse to learn the beauty of your energy whilst you was there. Don't allow yourself to be hoodwinked, bamboozled into what? Accepting this negative energy. Because you are never alone, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. There's a big difference between that and loneliness. Yeah, it would be a bad investment. You'll lose your mental health, your spiritual health, darling dears, and wealth. You could lose your job, your home, because the Hierophant is the second house, about your resources, your finances. They come to take from you, darling dears, bring lack. And it also speaks about some kind of government tax. Somebody needs to pay their taxes, or get an accountant, darling dears. You need to get it sorted out. Sort your wealth out, darling dears. Sort out your finances. Owe nothing to no one. Let's get another deck. We're going to go with, I'm seeing a lot of reds. And yeah, we'll go with the yellows. Yellow solar plexus energy, darling dears. I do. You can do anything you want. Their family was in on it too, right? It was a karmic soul tie, right? Motivated to get great. It was in the reverse. They're only motivated to take what they can from other people. This is why they want to what? Hang on to your coattails, darling dears. Ride your spiritual wave, right? They will take you to the point of pissed offedness, darling dears. Your stress threshold. Why would you want to be nervous again in your own house? Do you not remember the eggshells, the nights you couldn't sleep? Listen, I likes me sleep, you know. Yeah. Something's been going on for months, or something's going to be what? Manifesting over the next 8 months. Remember, I told you that. Okay? Nothing more from this side of the deck. My life is ruined. Well, they ruined it themselves, darling, just because of the words they said, the actions they chose, and now they want you to come and heal them, give them your light. Are you kidding me, blood? Oi, bestie, do you have a vacant orifice for them? You need to ask these questions amongst yourself. Remember, you had to fall down 7 times to get up 8. Well, guess what? The 8 is here, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. Let's get one final card. We're going to go with the Kipper deck. Yeah. Judgment, darling dears. Judgment is what? This stable foundation, and it also shows the comfort and security that you were sent here to give to others. Remember, I told you that. The 20 goes down to the energy of the 2, which is the High Priestess. Intuition, darling dears, and discernment. You were sent to what? Reveal secrets to others, possibly occult secrets, or maybe even secrets about astrology. But whatever it is that you're publishing, darling dears, it will help the world. It could be legal, it could be the law. It's a lot going on here, darling dears, a lot. Because you was always the gift. Energy of the 17. Lean in, bestie, is the star card, the healing that you bring to others. Remember, I told you that. And look at the dark energy at the back behind you, darling dears, trying to draw you in. Don't even turn around. Remember Lot's wife, Salt Bay. Look. Because that energy is what? A fork-tongued liar, a time waster who is pissed off, darling dears. And we have the energy of the 5, which is one of my God cards on the Kipper deck. The 5 is about the change of enlightenment and your spiritual ranking. Remember, I told you that. On that notes, I drops me mic. Todd love to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks, where I also upload videos. If you'd like a personal read, hit me up in the Gmail. Thank you very much for your continued support of me and these messages. Your likes, your subscribes, your shares, your bookings, your donations, and most importantly, your comment, which is a survival kit for another big cat. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat, cat.
How you came to be is no longer a mystery. Like sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' possession to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat moving silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.